Good morning, one and all. It's been a very stressful start to the morning. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How are we? I hope we're good. I hope we're well. First of all, James, you're a superstar. Just so people knew, Ryan was coming on with me and he was running late. Ellie was meant to join me and I haven't heard from her. I was like, okay, so I'm doing the stream by myself. And then this man right here, no, you're not, saves the day. So big up, James. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm well, mate. You?
So much better now that you're here, mate. Trust me, all
you
good.
Could just move yourself into different positions and been like
Yeah.
talking to yourself.
Oh, mate, that would have been too hard, Ryan. Too early, mate. It's 3:30 in the morning here, and just so you know, Ryan, because you're getting ready to come here in a couple of months, it's -3. All right, it's only 4:00 in the morning, but the temperatures are dropping. Snow was yesterday. How are you, Ryan, sir?
I'm good, and I'm getting prepared. I went to the Spurs Villa game without gloves, so I'm getting prepared.
Big man, mate. You're a big man. When we're making our way to the Scotland Yard from here in about -20, 30, let's see if you can do the same. You reckon you can?
No.
Okay, so let's just say hello to everyone in the chat. First of all, James coming in. My man, I haven't seen this dude about for ages. Celery Agent, I hope you're good, brother. Lee Smithy Smith, who will be making his debut, please God, on Friday on Cockerel Doodle. Good morning, Damien, brother. Mark Cousins is here as always. Oh, is it? That's why she's late. And his birthday, all is forgiven.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Els.
Happy birthday.
It's all big ups, sir. Andrew Gregory. Lee Smithy Smith is back at it. Everyone, please give some birthday love to Ellie. Hopefully she'll be awake and join us. We're going to be talking about this right now, Phil. I hope you're good, brother. Good morning, Colin, as always. I can't do that. It's 4:00 in the morning. I
can.
Be
Woo!
Thank you. And audio, big up, my brother. Right, okay. I did want to start this. We couldn't do it yesterday. We spoke about it briefly. Sunday, we woke up to news that obviously a legend of Tottenham Hotspur, as well as the legend of England, has sadly passed away. Ryan, CM Punk was a washout yesterday, I have to say. We'll talk about that later. That's a different subject completely. Terry Venables, player, manager, England manager, personality. It hit me hard. What about you, James?
Yeah, he's one of the managers for me, sort of growing up, sort of the beginning of my sort of football tenure where he actually played good football. It was like one of the first eye-catching managers that I kind of grew up with, if that makes sense. He was one of the reasons he kind of enjoyed football. It's very, very much philosophy first and the rest will come after, and that's credit to the man.
It is. Ryan, listen, I know you weren't alive for Toy Story and Toy Story 2, which we know drives me mad. Big up, Stephen. There's a load of Australians in today. Big up everyone in Australia.
Can we time him out?
No. I'll never time this man out. This man will never, ever get timed out. He might get timed out for this comment.
Yeah, time him out. Time him out now.
This man is very, very Levy out. Very Levy out, trust me. Getting back to it, Ryan. Terry Venables with you.
Spurs legends.
Oh wait, I was just about to say to you, Euro 96. You'll remember. I was like, no, you won't.
No, I won't. I've watched it. I've watched highlights of it. I've seen Southgate's missed penalty. I've seen Gaza not grow. I've seen Gaza not grow an extra 2 inches to tap home to send us through to the final. I went there. Past 3 in the morning, you cannot scream down the camera. Gaza's great, second great tournament. Obviously after Italia 90. I've obviously wasn't around for the FA Cup win for us when he was manager in 91. But yeah, anyone that's led Spurs to a trophy must be a legend at this rate.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
he must have played amazing football. I mean, he talks about it, I think when he was England manager, saying that he always wanted to play attractive football. Like he was the one that really wanted to play with style. Where that quote came from. Seemed like a genuine nice guy that you'd want to be around. I can't really say much on him as a person, or because obviously I wasn't around there. I wish I was, because it would have been a lot funner being a Spurs fan.
Oh, listen, he's the guy that gave me Paul Gascoigne. That's all. He is the guy. Listen, he's my first manager I remember. My first manager that won a trophy. What I will say is when we last won that FA Cup in 1991, if someone had said to you when Spurs had won it for a record 8th time, this will be the last time you win it in over 30 years, I may have said, you're off your head. Mate,
but from what Spurs fans are saying, mate, you need to blame Ange now. He made the wrong decisions. It's Ange's fault.
We're getting, mate. We trust me. We're going to have a little near the end. We're going to have a bit of Spurs talk about current. But yeah, you got to remember this guy. What I will say is not that Ange wouldn't be there. If he had this team right here, right now, we would be we're doing exactly what Ange did. Exactly what Ange does. He was ahead of everyone. If you listen to tell you what, the way you can look at it is just look at every single player that's talking about him. Ex-England, ex-Arsenal.
Didn't he do something with Pep as well?
Yeah, Pep was in the academy when like the proper youngsters. Johnny put a post, a picture on Twitter where Terry Venables is being hoisted up because Barcelona have won the league in his first season, and there's a little boy in a blue chip.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's Pep Guardiola.
I'll get it up.
Pep Guardiola was there, but yeah, listen. My views on Gary Lineker has slightly changed recently. There you go. There's young Pep.
That's Venables.
There's young Pep. But Gary Lineker was with him at Tottenham, obviously at Barcelona. I've seen so many videos with Gaza, and one of the things he did with Gaza all the time was he always said to him that if he didn't want to train as hard, he knew how to look after the big stars. He knew how to. His man management was. I think
that's a thing of a past, because I mean I'm not comparing the two, but Harry Redknapp did the same thing with Gareth Bale. If you remember, he couldn't train, so it was like, okay, like you won't train today, you won't train tomorrow, as long as you turn up on a Saturday, and he'll turn up on a Saturday and score an hat-trick. So I think it's a man manager it's almost like a dying breed.
It is.
Also with him, he
seems. 1 second, right? Just when you look at this. When Bill Nicholson said he was one of his favourites, you can only say this guy must have been something. And talking of favourites, there's a fourth person that's coming in. Look who's joined us. Mr. Coover has joined the chat. How are you, sir?
Yeah, the usual. Tired, insomnia again last night. Gotta love it. But yeah, had to come on and help out, didn't I?
Yeah,
I mean this is important stuff. This is a good era for us.
This is I mean, Kuva, very quickly, whilst we're talking about this, I'll let you have your first speech or thing you want to mention about the late great Terry Venables.
Terry Venables for me encapsulates all of what's good about football. There's the huge personality, this bravado, this confidence, everything done with a swagger. It's all based on attacking football. He had the goal as a player to punch Dave Mackay. He had the goal as a player to criticise the great Bill Nick for being too negative. This is a man who had a strong mind of his own, a way of doing things with football players that they all respected. Everybody under him was absolutely enamoured by him. Everybody he's worked with said he's one of the greatest coaches they've ever had the pleasure to play under, and they have no bad words to say about the man, which is really unusual. There's usually some little gripe stories, but it just goes to show what an immense man motivator he was, player motivator, and how good he was with interpersonal skills with players. You felt part of it, and you really all the players are saying you felt family, that kind of thing you had with Pochettino, when we all felt part of the same thing. That all the players felt that with Venables, constantly. Even if you weren't getting in the team, they were still just absolutely loved being there with him. He was innovative. He was ahead of his time, and what he did at Crystal Palace and QPR really piqued the interest of the footballing world. So much so that Barcelona took him on. Went on to become El Tel because of his stay there. When he came to Spurs, it was, wow, this is big time manager. This is at that point, I've sort of held him in the same sort of regard as people do with, say, a Conte or a Mourinho of this era. It's maybe perhaps not Mourinho. Mourinho's a winning machine. Terry Venables' criticism from always came from the press. It was, they were saying somebody of this talent should have won more trophies and things like that. You could argue that, but you could also look at the things he got very close to and he was in the running for, and he also did win things too. People dismiss that too easily. He did win our last FA Cup, and Brian and I will remember that very fondly indeed.
Yep.
We had this period of football where the team was not great at Tottenham, but we did have two absolute mega stars in Gary Lineker and Paul Gascoigne. And Venables just knew how to get the best out of the rest of them. We had players like Vinny Samways, David Howells, Steve Sedgley. So Steve Sedgley was still there, I think, at that point.
Yeah, he won the FA Cup in '91.
Yeah. These aren't players that are like you'd get into any other big teams at the time. But he managed to mould them out, gave them belief, gave them this desire to win, desire to play football the right way, and it got results. We're a lot of the time, unfortunately, mid-table because we're very inconsistent. But that used to be us back in those days. It was we'd beat some of the big teams, play a fantastic game, and then maybe get beaten by somebody we shouldn't. A little bit frustrating, but we were maintaining being a cup side.
Yep.
Something which we don't nowadays. So, yeah, I've got nothing but fond memories of him. He was larger than life character, flamboyant with everything, always a smile, cheeky grin, that sort of Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses aura to him. And people just loved him. It was great stuff. I really miss him. One of the best managers we've had. I think under different circumstances, we could have done something really special with him.
Well, I'm going to carry that on with you, Cooper, in 1 second. But Tottenham on Tour has now become a health show. And I love our community because Cooper Paddy's reached out to you and said, if you're struggling to sleep, take magnesium 2 hours before bedtime. Powerful, trust me, it works wonders. I have to tell you as well. I think I told you, people knew, Ryan certainly knew. I went for about a month with 2 hours sleep. That's what I was living on a day. And I went to the doctors finally, got sleeping pills, and they told me that one of the side effects of this is you're going to have the most random, bizarre, vivid dreams you've ever had, but they come in like short bursts. I had a whole night of about 30-second dreams where I was on the Mario Kart go-kart courses. I didn't have a car, and I had the Mario characters chasing me in their cars. It was the weirdest, most surreal night of my life. I'll send you over some, Cooper, if you want. But do you know what? I want to go back to, and I'll go to you first, Cooper, with this, and I'll go to James, because I'll go to Ryan last because he won't have a clue because of his bloody age. I always say one of the biggest crimes for Tottenham in my life was under Terry Venables when we brought in Gary Lineker and we sold Chris Waddle. If we had Gaza, Lineker, Waddle, we went on to finish third that season. Waddle in that team, I think we win the league. Coos.
Could have. We were that close. We finished third that year. It was a really strong showing, but there's a few little. Oh no! Wait a minute, Tagaro. Gary Mabbott always gets credit, mate. But yeah, he's not the focus today, though. Gary Mabbott was there during the early '80s as well. He won the UEFA Cup with us, so he was getting his credit with the team before Venables was here. So no worries. He is always a club legend.
Gary Neville is the most, to me, still to this day, and I say it countless times. We've got Mark in the comment. To me, Gary Mabbott is the most inspirational captain I have ever seen at any football club, let alone Tottenham Hotspur. He is a legend upon legend. Anyone that doesn't give him legendary status are crazy, in my opinion. Absolute madness. But yeah, Coover, go back to the deadly trio we could have had.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know, everybody knows what Paul Gascoigne's all about. Everybody knows what Gary Lineker's all about. Perhaps some of the younger fans won't have too much of an idea what Chris Waddle was really like for us. And all I say with Chris Waddle is when we first got him from Newcastle, I think in '85, if I remember rightly, he was a tricky sort of gangly winger that you weren't quite sure how good he was going to be. But in the next couple of years, he played alongside Glenn Hoddle, and boy, did that rub off on him. He developed his skills like shot through the roof. He became one of the most dangerous wingers in the league. And, you know, eventually we didn't know it at the time, of course, but of course we had to sell him on. It was for a lot of money to Marseille, I think about $4.5 million at the time, which was absolutely huge. But if we had kept them, those are the sort of game-winning type players that turn around those awkward little 1-1 draws into a win, or eradicate some of those losses, or even completely turn them around. If you put 3 people like that in your team, you are off to a flyer. I mean, the same sort of era, the Dutch national side, when you looked at Van Basten, Rijkaard, Hullet, and you're thinking that's a top 3 that would win you something. And they had that aura about them. Chris Waddle was up there with them. He very much wouldn't have been a sidekick to Paul Gascoigne. He would have been there as on merit alongside him. A big name, great player, a lot of ability, and a player we should have brought back from his stint abroad rather than watching him go into another club.
Sheffield Wednesday.
He just went on strength to strength. Even when he came on as an aging player, he was still great. He was absolutely fantastic. He'd matured into stop being such a sort of speedy type winger and just a much more mature all-round passer of the ball, very intelligent passing player, and would have fitted us perfectly. That he's proper Spurs as far as I'm concerned. Fantastic. And with Venables, of course he would have thrived. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Venables just loves attacking football, loves to let players. It gives them the license to actually play football the way they want to play it. I think that was his biggest strength. And I would say as well, with the England side, when Venables took over, everybody who was there at the time will remember Euro 96 fondly for a lot of things. We had Sheringham and Shearer up front, and Venables just basically let the side go out and play, express itself. And boy, did they. In the group stages, we started off with a sort of timid draw with Switzerland, where we're thinking, is this really going to work? And then we beat
Scotland.
Scotland, of course, with the magical Paul Gascoigne goal. But for me, it was that final game against the Dutch. We beat them 4-1. And this, for me, is the best I've ever seen an England team play. We absolutely dismantled them. This was a good Dutch side. And we were just sublime that day. The football was incredible. It was mouth-watering. And I just thought, wow, is this really the national side? We don't do this, especially in a tournament. Tournaments, you usually see these edgy little games, maybe not so much in recent times with some spectacular World Cups, but then it was a case of you just got over the line no matter what it took. But what we did in that game, pure footballing against the side that's reputed, got their reputation as being the footballing side in Europe. The way we outdid them, it was almost a pinnacle in what Terry Venables can do for a side. For me, if you encapsulated it in one match, brilliant to watch. And again, another chance wasted. We should have kept him on as national manager for a long time.
We
But
should have.
FA,
We should.
FA
Still
being
had
the
the
FA.
knowledge in that game to allow Netherlands to score to knock Scotland out.
Well, the thing you got to look at as well, and James, I'm going to ask you this question instead because it's more relevant. Obviously, can you imagine what Terry Venables would have done with this England team?
Yeah, yeah. Somebody that plays attacking branded football with the best attacking midfielder at the minute in the world in Bellingham, the best striker in the world in Harry Kane. Yeah, it would be endless, wouldn't it? It would absolutely be endless. So it's hard to put into words. That's what I mean. For me, he was the first coach that kind of sort of turned my love for football, just attacking philosophy. But it weren't all like gun ho. It was actually like tactically good attacking football. It weren't just go for attack and we'll concede free. Like you used to compare him to Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp was like, it doesn't matter if we win, we'll win 4-3. Whereas he was a bit more structured, if you like. It was a lot more sort of philosophy of style of football. So he wouldn't have that in his mind, sort of thing.
I honestly think, and I'll come to you, Ryan. Let's test your knowledge. Let's test your ball knowledge. I think an on-fire Harry Redknapp team gets destroyed by an on-fire Terry Venables team.
No.
I'd just love to watch that game, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's no winner there for me.
An on-fire Harry Redknapp team with Bale on the left, Lennon on the right, Modric pulling the strings in midfield with Scott Parker mopping up. You had Dawson, King,
I'm talking about a greatest 11, not just a team. If you look at the greatest 11 Terry Venables could have put together, and the greatest 11 Harry Redknapp, and Terry Venables' tactical knowledge was far superior.
Oh yeah, Harry Redknapp was straight 4-4-2 pretty much, or 4-4, just drop one striker and behind the other.
And Defoe, Cranshaw, and Crouch play.
Or Van der Vaart pulling the strings and winning the game.
Oh, Van der Vaart, yeah, that's a shout. Van der Vaart, proper player.
I still think
the crazy thing here is I'm picturing that midfield matchup when Paul Gascoigne would meet Luka Modric, and Luka Modric would be going, "Who the hell is this guy?" It's just like he's just done him all over. Gascoigne was that good in his prime. He was the thing. He was the commodity in world football at that point, I'd say.
Okay, Modric or Gascoigne?
Gascoigne all day long.
It's hard to for me. That's hard to say because Gascoigne's an attacking player, whereas Gascoigne could not do what Luka Modric did. He just couldn't. But then Luka Modric couldn't do what Gascoigne did. So it's not really fair to sort of say. I think personally, Luka Modric is up there with probably best 5 or 6 centre midfielders or holding midfielders ever. To be honest,
this is a great general. I have to say, if we were to have them two together, would probably be the best partnership you'd ever see. Worldwide. They would be. I mean, I still say the best midfield partnership I've seen outside of Tottenham is Terry Venables, Gazza and Ince. Euro 96. Them two.
Mine's Xavi and Iniesta for me.
So I mean, of comparisons, that's not bad shout.
It's just sitting behind them.
Yeah, So this is where that's where you can't really compare someone like Gazza because Gazza would win you the game like on his own. So if they're having a terrible game, Gazza would step up and win. Whereas for me, Modric just cruised. I mean, look what he did with Croatia.
Yeah, there's no
unbelievable.
Doubt. I just think Modric is a phenomenon. Obviously, I wasn't around to see Gazza as well as but I just think Modric literally, as Benjamin Foster, is the complete footballer, without doubt,
Modric is great. But I was just going to say, with Gascoigne, if they played in the same team, Modric would be getting annoyed that he couldn't get any of the ball.
Yeah,
because Gazza, it was all about Gazza. Gary Lineker used to say there's 2 times in the game Gascoigne would pass to you when he expected the ball back immediately, or when he was knackered and needed you to do the running. That was it. Otherwise, it's you give him the ball and he'll do it. He's Roy of the Rovers, literally on the pitch.
Would it be too much to say Gazza was a bit more of a showman than Luka Modric? And Luka Modric,
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
mate. I'm actually going to give you that one, Ryan. I'm actually going to allow you to get away with that one. But you know what? Let's move to present day. We have, well, it broke yesterday with Tottenham Tears. They put something out, and it is apparently Spurs have stepped up their approach, or words to that effect.
Oh, here we go.
Stepped up interest.
For Jota, and Jota has become their primary target. And I can't remember how it was worded. And they said they've stepped it up or sped up their process. And I said, I hope sped up translates to meaning coming in the first week of January. And then my Twitter went mad. It was like Cluedo. People were like, no, that means like 10 o'clock in the evening on deadline day, or it'll be done a day before, or all funny things. But Jota is the one that's not going away. James, are you for Jota coming in before the president of the Vicario fan club talks? Member 001 is in the house. Good morning, Renhan. I hope you're good. James.
So for me, I think it's an amazing signing, and I actually disagree with you. You've got to, it looks like it's going to be a loan deal, so that means it's no excess spend. So that'll be done straight away. When there's no money involved, he'll have that whooped up and signed straight away. There's no problem. It's when it involves money.
Big issue is on 250 bags a week in Saudi.
But he hasn't been registered, has he? He's not even registered at a squad. He's just earning 250 grand.
Why?
So, who knows? But for me, he plays Ange's formation. He's done it before. So he'll walk into the first 11 and know what to do, what's expected. I think left wing, we are desperate for somebody, to be honest. I think we are absolutely desperate for somebody on the left wing. So I think it just ticks all the boxes, to be honest. I'd like to get him and is it Jimenez, the Mexican striker?
Yep, that's the one.
And then I'd get Lloyd Kelly, and that's all those three players for under 100 million. And I think that improves our squad dramatically, to be honest.
Okay, Ryan, I'm going to come to you last for obvious reasons. But Kuva, as James said, the guy's not registered. The guy is coming on loan, so there's no money. The issue is the salary. Do you reckon this deal gets done, or it was at least we tried?
Loans a possibility, I suppose. You can never rule those out. For me, I know he's a good player, but I don't want him at the club. I think a player that goes over to Saudi to take the huge pay packet instead of having the desire to win things in the proper competitions over here, it's not somebody I really want to have playing for my team. He's just a mercenary.
Is that fair to say, though, if we don't know if anyone tried to buy him? If we don't know if anyone tried, there was rumours, but what if rumours are not true? And then these guys, let's be honest, Saudi come in and splash so much money. And then I think it's the Saudi league don't allow more than 7 foreign players, I think. And they went and bought 8. So they had to sort of a process of elimination and not register, from what I gather. So it is quite easy to say, in your argument, and I do agree, but would that mean you wouldn't take Ruben Neves and players like that as well?
Yeah. I do feel that way. Yeah.
That's fair enough, yeah.
You look at the players look at what Messi did. He was offered huge money to go over, and he wanted to stay and keep going until he was ready to. He thought he was no longer good enough for the rigors of playing at top level in European games. But I think the same with Modric as well. I mean, I'm sure they would have loved to have offered him loads back in the day, but he stays. So, I mean, I'll just think the desire to win things, I think for me, is something that you should see in players. I think if you're really just going around taking that extra pay packet all the time, I worry about those kind of players. You can get away with it if your team's good enough and you get in a few of these type players and the rest of the team's got that mentality. Perhaps it rubs off on them, but I just think this is a lot of money we'd be talking about for a permanent signing in terms of wages, and I wouldn't be going for it. I prefer to get a young, hungry player that really wants to prove themselves and give them the time to develop with the squad. It's even a cheaper option, if you like. But it's all well and good saying that there might not be a transfer fee or something like that because they're not registered, or but those wages really do add up. Huge signing on fee. If you don't pay for a transfer fee, you're damn well going to be paying a big signing on fee, which is near as damn it a lesser kind of transfer fee in itself. So either way, we're talking a lot of money. Do I think the player's good enough? Yeah, sure, he's a good player. There's talent there, but I question his desire to really play at this level. I really do.
If anyone can hear that noise in the background, the cat has decided today of all days to start playing with one of the loudest toys he has. So I apologise if you hear a ball being kicked around or twirled around, whatever.
Can she play centre back?
Where is Big Vic?
Big Vic is still a shy little cat. He is over there playing. He's getting better. He's getting better. We do have a name, which I'm not announcing here because I said
We've been saying it for ages.
No, I've got it. I said I'll announce it on Ben's channel, so it'll be announced on Ben's channel. Maybe even today. We'll see. Ryan, here we go. But before we go to you, Ryan, I have to say, Kuva, when you compared Jota, or not compared, but said Jota and Messi, and then Messi only went to their when he seemed fit. I think when we're talking bank balances, I think Messi is a little bit further in front financially. But no, I agree with you with the players going out there. We know why they went out there. Whether they come back with a hunger is something different. But I saved someone till last. Ryan.
Yep.
Jota and transfer activity in January. And do remember, it is 25 to 10 in the morning. So nice and easy, nice and calm. Woosa, and all that.
I got the door shut, so we're good. I don't mind the deal. I don't hate the deal. I don't like it. It's a bit twixt in between. If we're looking for someone that's a bit more offensive, I still think we should be going after Gift Orban. I really like him as a player. He's been injured out the team recently, but he's come back into the team and started scoring goals again. I think this guy is just born to score goals. It's just one of them things that I just hope we don't snap, Cuba. Snap, same mug.
Mate, I think everyone in England has that
got
mug.
4 of those.
Yeah. Like, as soon as they came out, they were the mug to get. They're the best cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on, Ryan.
Go and get an out-and-out centre forward. Go and get a top quality centre. And all this thing about, and I put this tweet out and I said, everyone wants to improve the squad. Well, surely to improve the squad, you don't get lesser players to the first team. You should be getting players that are better than the first team to eventually overtake them. But then it means that the first that are currently in the first team have to up their level and try and keep their position. That's how you make a competitive squad. If you constantly have a first team and bring someone in that's not that level, they know that they're always going to be in the first team unless they get injured. And that's the kind of thing we've gotten into. If you look at Man City, it's a completely different kettle of fish. But every single time they make a signing, Calvin Phillips aside, it's literally to improve their first 11. So that one knocks down, but they just do improve to get back up, and they always do it. Eventually, they do get the original first 11 coming back in, and it's literally like that. It's a revolving conveyor belt, and that's the way we should be acting. That's how big clubs should be acting.
Do you not think
lesser player?
Do you not think Jota's better than Richarlison and Solomon?
I haven't seen enough of him to say so, but
okay. Neither have I. I've seen what I have seen. Obviously, I've only seen highlights and clips, and he looks amazing. Obviously, yeah.
Give someone with any 1 sec, Brian. Give someone any kind of who knows anything to do with that kind of stuff, and you can.
Well, I have tried to look for a Richarlison one, and I can't find one.
Ryan, I have to say,
they can make long time of anyone with some decent music, and they'll look decent.
Ryan, that was the most incredible response from you that I think I've ever heard live on a stream, and for that, I'm taking 5 slaps away. So we're resetting the clock. We're going down when you get here. But you're right, isn't it? The first team's got to improve and put pressure on the first team rather than just bringing bit parts. Colin mentioned it. Good old Colin Cross, as well as you. Do we think this man's coming in?
He's got to come in for me. absolutely got to come in for me. I think he's great on the ball. He's fairly quick. He's good at reading the game. He's not as strong, but if he's going to come in, he's going to want to come in and help the team. And I think he'll know that he's going to be a sub. And if he still wants to come in and be a sub and push the team, I think that's a good thing. I think you're not going to go out and what people are like talking about, like world-class centre-backs. People like Tapsoba and so on are not going to come knowing that when Van der Ven's fit, they're on the bench. And if they do, they're just going to cause an unhappy cart, in my opinion. So for someone keen to come in, a lot of people say, oh, well, Brighton this and Brighton that, Bournemouth this, Bournemouth that. Let's be honest. There's a lot of good players that have come from lower leagues and just fell out. I mean, yesterday, Fulham ain't playing at R.I.P anymore. Does that mean that he's not a very good player? So for me, I think that he could step up and do a really good job, to be honest.
I would take Adebayo, and I wanted Adebayo last summer over
I want them both. I want them both.
Yeah, that would be the perfect solution.
Apparently, Bournemouth aren't fussed. They're still going to hold out for 25, 30 million, even with 6 months left on his deal. And they're a kind of club that it's been touted that they'd let him leave on a free unless they get the money that they ask for. So there's not going to be many wiggle room for negotiations.
I think when it comes, I think that is one of those ones that goes to the end of the transfer market. And I think if they come out and say 25 million, and at the end of the transfer market, you get for 10 or 15 million, I think then it's okay to accept that if that's our guy that we want. But for me, I think he would do us. I think he would do really well. He's a million times better than Ben Davies, so get him in.
Kuva, what's the defender?
Yeah, I think the thing is said already. When it's an unfashionable club, we will have a lot of our fan base turn their nose up, saying, "Oh, well, clearly not good enough." I think in the case of Lloyd Kelly, I live in an area where I'm close to Bournemouth, and I know a lot of people that are Bournemouth fans. I know a lot of Southampton fans. The Bournemouth fans I know, well, three that I've spoke to, all unanimous in saying it. Lloyd Kelly is a class act. He's one of their best players. The reason he fell out of favour with them a while back was it was contract negotiations. And he suffered in form when he was given the captaincy at a very young age. Some players, it doesn't work out well for them. He had a dip in form, which is fair. He then had some injuries and he got shifted around position to position. And he didn't have a sort of long run in getting used to one particular position. So his form dipped. But when he came back, and this season in particular, he's been magnificent for them. And I watched myself that they drew 0-0 with Chelsea earlier in the season. Though. Yep. But wasn't the greatest of games. But I was looking at him in particular because his name kept getting mentioned. And he was the best player on the pitch by a mile. His reading of the game so good, as James was saying earlier. He reads the game. He's not a tackler. He's somebody who intercepts the ball or he blocks it. It's all to do with timing, reading what the other player's going to do. He studies the shape of the player. He knows which way they're going to go. He's very good at it. When he's in a 1v1 situation, he's excellent. This is why Liverpool are also looking at him, and so are some of the other bigger clubs as well. This bloke fits the role because, not like Van der Ven, he's not only can he play in that central defensive role, he can also go out on the left wing back slot, and he's quite comfortable on it. He's very good on the ball as well. He's relaxed. He's comfortable. He kind of that captaincy was almost destroying him. And you could see it in body language sometimes in previous seasons. This season, he's relaxed. He knows what he is. He knows the kind of player he is. He's comfortable, and it translates to his performances on the pitch. He's a really good player. Again, it's because he isn't one of those big names, and he does play for Bournemouth. But I always like to remember when people turn their nose up at a player that's playing for one of the less fashionable teams, Virgil van Dijk. He was at Southampton. They were bottom of the league when Liverpool signed him. I mean, it's not where you'd think, oh, there's a gem, but look how good he is. So I don't think fans should worry too much about some of these signings. They always, of course, would like to see the Gvardiols and the Bastonis and all these type players coming in, but it's simply not what we do at this club. And I think reluctantly I've accepted it. As long as we do get sensible signings in, And we have seen this. We can do it. The doggy, he didn't break the bank, did he? What a good player that is. Van der Ven, you wouldn't say he's broken the bank. You look at some of the prices being thrown around nowadays. That's a bargain.
What about my guy?
I was waiting. How dare you? You did mention
David. What about David Raya? I wish we had David Raya.
Our guy.
I wish we had David Raya.
Although, I'm being brutally honest here, Vicario should have done better with Villa's second goal.
Get rid of that guy.
Yeah, sell him.
Block him.
The moment we lose again, sack the manager and put all the players on the transfer list.
Yeah. You know what, James? I'll come to you first as well, because it's always good. We can talk incomings, but we've got to start looking at this, because this is going to pay no matter what happens. And then I'll go to Ryan and Cooper last.
The one thing I would disagree with there, and again, I know he's not good enough, but every time Davis gets the shirt or tries the shirt on or goes, he gives his all. And if he's going to be a fifth choice centre back, I don't actually mind him staying if he's going to be a fifth choice. Ultimately, I'd like them all gone, obviously, and replaced. That's obviously the ultimate goal. But I don't look at Davis as in the same look as I look at Dyer and Lloris.
There you go. But before I go to Ryan and Coover, we're going to bring a fifth person on. It's not the birthday girl, but it is a part of Tottenham on tour. Let's bring him in. Let's bring in the cough. Brother?
We've broken the rule of 4 on the screen only.
Yeah, but only because it's you, sir. Only because it's you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right this morning. Late night last night, but we're having a good morning this morning. So, yeah, it's all fun. All fun.
Good. Morning, Ben.
Morning. How's everyone?
Morning, mate.
Right. Yeah. Ben, I'll let you go first, then we'll go Ryan and Cooper, because you've just joined in, and I'll let you take control whilst I make another coffee. We're basically talking about outgoings. So fire away whilst I go get a coffee.
Yeah, outgoings. Difficult one. Personally, I don't see anyone going. I don't see a single one of our players that's good enough to get a move to another team, except for maybe Giovanni Lo Celso. Because Barcelona... What?
Højbjerg?
No, I don't think he's going in January. I think he's too important now. I think Lo Celso's too important now to let go, because we ain't got any players left. I don't see any players going anytime soon. And that has been the main problem with Tottenham over the last few years. Is we can't get rid of players. We're great at getting new players in, but then we've got an overbulged squad, and no one wants an overbulge or anything. But what do you think about this, James? What do you see in our January pursuits?
I think that even if, say, for example, Dyer, if he doesn't leave, I think he'll sign a pre-contract abroad or something. So I think he'll be as good as gone, if obviously in Jan. I think Hugo Lloris again. I think he might sign a pre-contract elsewhere if he doesn't leave. I think he could look at going. I would like to. It's such a hard one because of the African Cup of Nations and stuff. It kind of takes away all your wiggle room, because I would have said we could have loaned the likes of Skip out, or you could have sold Skip, or you could have. But because of that literal 1 month, we can't really do anything. We're stuck with everybody because we need them.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
It's a difficult situation because we really need to improve. And thanks to everyone for the welcome messages. Welcome. I'm back. I'm late, but oh well. But it's that thing where we really should be. We shouldn't even have to be in this position. We shouldn't have to worry. Oh, we're gonna have to play Emerson Royale at centre back now. We have to play him because Dyer is so bad that he has to play there.
Yeah,
so we have to play 2 players out of position to accommodate that Dyer is awful. It shouldn't be issue, mate. It shouldn't be an issue. They should look at the squad as a whole and say, we cannot have this again. We cannot have a position where we're playing 2 players out of position and having to. We need to have a big squad, but a good squad, and it has to be done now. I know January is always difficult. Well, it's not difficult if you pay proper money and buy early, so teams have enough time to replace them. But
would you accept no one coming in and say 6 or 7 being sold, knowing that it's going to put us in the shit for the rest of the season. But those 6 or 7 sold could be Hugo, Dyer, Davis, Skip, whoever you want, Richarlison. Would you take proper whittling down the squad to sort of like 13, 14 players, leaving us short?
We can't go that far. We can't go that far, but we need to see who can we improve on and then replace them and instantly get rid of, like, even if you have to cancel a Dyer's contract, you're going to have to pay his wages anyway because no one wants him. So just get him out. Get him out. Let him find a new club. Richarlison, I'm so desperate for one of the Saudi teams to buy him. He's just not. I don't see him coming good. I was
thinking is, what about if they offer that? Because obviously he ain't registered, so he doesn't really have a transfer value, and I think they only paid 25 million anyway, or 25 million euros. What about if they said we'll give you 30 million euros and Jota for Richarlison? Or 20 million euros a Jota.
It might be a good thing. I don't know. I don't know if even Richarlison will even go to the Saudi League.
He is completely, paperwork wise, he is.
Oh, Brian, why don't you go get another coffee, mate? You've just ruined everything.
Mate, listen.
Yeah, you just ruined it all for us, Brian.
I was getting excited. You've come back and just ruined the lot. I'm going.
Do you know what? People will start saying I've got a Richarlison agenda. So,
what do you think, Ahi? We have to get players out.
Listen, we've had this issue for a very, very long time, and I will speak Levy here. We've had times where we've either overpriced players that are well above market value, or we have just let these players stagnate so badly that no club even wants to touch them.
Yeah.
Look at, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who I'm not putting in that bracket at all, had the chance to go, but he turned down Fulham. He obviously, if Atletico had come through, he would have been
sees himself above his station, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but Eric Dyer, obviously, the man who wants to have his ashes buried there, the man who's even apparently come out and said, I'm staying here till the end of the season, then I'll leave for whatever. No one's going to want him. I can't see what he... Obviously, there's rumours that Jose wants him. There are clubs that want him, that play a different brand of football, that may help him. But I just can't come on. And we're lucky Craig Sullivan isn't here, because Craig Sullivan is a huge Richarlison lover. And this is the thing with Richarlison. And I've seen this listen, I think it's been a flop. There's no doubt it's been an unmitigated flop of epic proportions.
I don't think that's his fault, though.
That's what I was coming to. The price tag was nothing to do with him. The price tag is the price tag. I don't think he's been match fit for more than a week.
But most importantly, he's not suitable for the way we want to play football. He suits Everton, which is a team that gets up the pitch and whips a ball in the box. When was the last time?
It stinks of Soldado.
It's Soldado again.
No. Whenever people say it's about Soldado, I always
I think the difference is, I think that Andrew's come in, and I think Richarlison may have got a way of playing under Conte. Everybody has to be technically good under Ange. For me, I thought Skip would do a really good job for Conte and Mourinho. I think he would sit back, he'd work hard, break up the play, and that's all he'd be asked to do. But when you play under someone like Ange, for me, Emerson Royale, everyone said he'd done well. He gave the ball away something like seven or eight times. That's not doing well. It's just what we expect of him now. It's like, he had a good game for him. Ben Davis, again, positionally unaware, gave the ball away, but he did okay for Ben Davis. So you're like, it's Ben Davis.
Yeah.
There were so many players that do that, and you're like, he did all right, because you're so used to him being so bad. But for me, if you're going to continue with Ange, you need to let all of those guys go. So the Skips, and even Højbjerg come on straight away and gave the ball away, and I'm like, oh my god, you're just not tactical. You haven't got the footballing brain.
Can't receive the ball under pressure and move it quickly, which is the entire idea of an Ange Postecoglou system, that you will build from the back. We will only build from the back. And if we can't build from the back, we will still build from the back. And I'm
going to go back to Soldado quickly, because I won't let this one drop. I always say this every time this comes up, and Kuva will remember it vividly as well. We signed Roberto Soldado, and when we signed him, he had scored 25 goals plus in La Liga 5 years in a row. I don't care who you are. To do that, you are a top striker. He comes in, and the way he got his goals was he played two up top. He had a big man next to him, and he fed off him or balls from the wing, whipped in, and he got them. So Spurs do their scouting, do their due diligence for what they need. They bring him in and say, right, you've scored over 100 goals in the Liga or 125 goals in the league or whatever it was for 5 years, playing in a 2. Well, you're coming here, you're going to play in a 1, and you have to create space for the oncoming midfield. It was never going to work. You don't scout the player.
It's the same thing with Charlton, though, isn't it?
Same, yeah. I was going to say the same thing.
That's
Need the two up front.
That's what I'm getting at. That's exactly what it is. I won't let anyone listen. Was Soldado a flop at Spurs? Yes. Was it Soldado's fault?
No.
No. Why go? This is what the problem has been. You go scout a player to improve your club and to play the way the manager wants, and then you bring in a striker. Listen, there's some elite strikers that can play in any kind of. Harry Kane plays a 1, plays a 2, plays a 3. He'll do it. Roberto Soldado was not that.
Charlton needs balls into the box with speed from the wings, where he has literally not even a second to think. He is an impulse player. If we had a Rafinha on the right, and let's say I don't know who left wingers that can cross at the moment, but anyway, a left winger that can cross a ball, and you're whipping balls into the box for him, he would be absolutely brilliant. Yep. We haven't played that way since the 90s. Since we had Darren Anderton playing for the club, we haven't had a winger that crosses the ball. You could say David Bentley, but he didn't have pace, so he never really got past.
That's not a bad one, Ryan. Ryan said Gareth Bale. It's not a bad one.
The last time, but even Gareth Bale wasn't necessarily the one crossing, because he became a striker the year after that. He became more of a striker, more of that central player.
Spot on with this one. Here's another one. He needed Shevchenko. He needed Shevchenko. Shevchenko didn't really need him. But
I still need Shevchenko.
Oh, mate. When he went to Chelsea, I was fuming.
What you were saying there, Ben, I agree with you about people getting the balls in the box. And I think we kind of saw the start of it the weekend. I thought Hill and Johnson could have done more. Both of them could have done more. But I was definitely saw signs of encouragement with the way they just got to the byline and crossed the ball across the box. I mean, Johnson could have scored 1 or 2. Hill, when he got in behind and running down the wing, could have scored 1 or 2. I think that's the first time in a long time we've actually seen our wingers get to the byline and look for a ball across the box. We just needed that natural finisher. Son is amazing at a lot of things, but he's not a finish. Like, he's good at finishing. He's very good at finishing, but he's not got like that natural Lewandowski, Hurricane, poacher. Yeah.
I was quite. For me, against at the weekend, I hope I'm wrong, but my gut feeling with Brian Hill remains the same. I think the reason he looked pretty lively in that game against Villa is they played so narrow. They gave him all the space in the world, so he can play when you give him space. As soon as he was up at one-on-one with a player, he was coming off second best, and I think we're going to see that more often than not. Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong, but because it's always bad when a player does fail at this club. But when it comes to Richarlison, you cannot make the argument for he needs to play in a different. We need to play a different way to get the best out of him. But I'm still going to argue that getting the best out of him, he's still not a lethal goal scorer. He's still very average. At best, at Everton, his best haul was what, like 15?
13. No, I think 13.
There we go. And this is not just Everton. Before that, Watford, or even when he was in Brazil, his goal scoring record has never been great. He's just one of these players that gets in there. He's prepared to do the rough stuff, but at the end of the day, for me, I just don't think he's good enough. I just don't think he's a very good footballer.
It's taken him 8 years to score Premier League goals.
We have this habit as fans at this club of finding any excuse under the sun to hang on to players that aren't good enough. We've done it always since I remember. Brian Brian Hill himself, he's still here. Why? People stick up for. We've done it on the stream as well. I agree about what's said about Davis. I think he's that kind of. If he's a fifth choice centre back, I'm okay with it. But again, he shouldn't be here, should he? No. Him and Dyer, we've seen 10 years of them not being good enough, yet they're still here, and we're still making excuses for some of it. If we're going to get anywhere, we've got to be ruthless and just say some of these players are not good footballers. Emerson Royale's another. He should never be anywhere near a Spurs team. Not the Spurs I know. We're supposed to be a slick passing team. That's not him, is it?
The guy can't pass the football.
I'm going to ask one final question, and it's going to be a very quick answer. Man City coming up. Do you, obviously, a lot of people say going to the Etihad is a free hit. And obviously with our depleted team, all I'm going to say is I'm going to say in this game being a free hit, or could be a free hit, do you play at any point, I'm not saying from the start, one of the youth, and if so, which one? And we'll go from top to bottom. So Ryan, Man City, would you, if you were to play one of the youth and give them their first minutes, who would it be? And that could be from the bench as well.
Dorrington.
From the bench or start?
Start. I think he's the only one, even at 18, 19, if you look at the size of him, he's probably the one that's best capable of actually dealing with Haaland, with his pace and his power. You got Emerson Royale and Ben Davies who are about 5'7", 5'8". So yeah, and let's face it, City are a big side. We're going to need that height for set pieces. I said immediately when Bentancur came off, Villa are going to be a lot more of a threat from set pieces because across that back line, they're not even close to 6'2", 6'3". And you think about City, they've got about 6'7" players that are over 6 foot. You got Rodri, you got Haaland. Their entire back four is over 6 foot. So we're going to need height on Sunday. So Dorrington 100% has to play.
Okay, so I have to say,
I'd love to see that as well. But here's the question, right? Who would you partner him with?
Ben Davies.
No one. If it's going to be anyone, Ben Davies for me as well.
Yeah.
But what I will
the
say,
experience, and at least he's steady.
What I will say on that is, we'll go to you, James, then Ben, then Kuva, then me. We all talk about this, and I'm one for playing all the youngsters and whatever. And people go, "Oh no, you'll knock his confidence."
Maybe.
I can think of nothing worse to make your debut and go, "Yeah, you're just at the Etihad on your debut without Romero van de Ven. Just keep an eye on that guy Haaland. He's a bit lethal." That is like nightmares.
Then sink or swim. Then we're going to find out.
I've got a theory what he should do, but he won't listen to me. So it's I think we should play. It should be a Doggy, Davis, Dorrington, Emerson, Porro at right wing, Johnson at left wing. That's the best way for everyone.
So Ben, I didn't hear, do you play
Dorrington?
Do you play youngster?
Donnelly and Dorrington.
Okay. We're going to wrap up shortly. So let's.
I'm in Kuva's boat. I had this argument with my uncle quite a lot on Sunday about Brian Hill.
Blast from the past, Mario. Blast from the past, my friend. James, youngster, if so, start or bench?
So I wouldn't start any of them, to be honest. And Alfie Dorrington would only start at centre-back for me if it was alongside Ashley Phillips. Other than that, I don't want to put him under the pressure of having to cover for Ben Davies or Emerson Royale. I think there's one thing having to bring a player in and make him do his own job. There's another thing bringing in a kid and saying you not only have got to do your job, you've got to carry a bunch of shit next to you. So that's not fair. Jamie Donnelly, I'm expecting to lose, but if it lasts 5-10 minutes, give him 5 or 10 minutes. I don't think you're going to do any harm.
There we go, Kuva.
I'm going to stick with what I said at the start of the season, and that was if we do get into injury problems, I'm quite happy to throw the youngsters in and show a bit of faith in them. So for me, I'd happily start both Dorrington and Donnelly. Why not? Why not? And even though it's away at Man City, think of the message that sends out to our academy. that you can get a start even away at Man City. You can have a manager that will put some bit of faith in you. You can have a chance. So I just think this season is a transitional one for us. We all know this. We're building a squad for long term. We can't do it overnight, unfortunately. We've wrecked the squad over several years. We'll have to build it over several years now as well. But some of these players coming through the academy are exceptional. They're having an exceptional season. Have a bit of faith in them. And I like the idea of put Dorrington up against Haaland. What if he has a blinder? What if Haaland doesn't score and Dorrington's come out of it?
Put Donnelly up against Carl Walker.
Do
you will not learn a better lesson for Jamie Donnelly as a winger than going up against one of the best right backs the world has ever seen in football history. That is a footballing lesson he would like to learn. It will either sit or a win, but no one will say, "Oh, you couldn't beat Carl Walker. You're a failure."
You're right.
Do you think Rage would have learned from maybe last week when you saw Ten Hag throw in a kid away at Everton and he has started? So, like, maybe he was a bit fearful, but he's seen the big clubs now use the youth team when they were struggling. He might just chuck one or two in now.
And I just want to say here, as we wrap up the show, thank you for this, Hemorrhoid. What I will say is I don't know what YouTube is playing at the moment. There's 105 of you in here, and it seems like quite a few people aren't getting the notifications when we go live. It's brilliant. 105 of you tuned in. So please make sure you're subscribed if you haven't, or make sure the bell is set to all to get all our notifications, because we have the Advent calendar starting this Friday. And the people starting off, we're starting with a bang. It's Ben and Simeon that will be joining us from the studio when we record the first one. We're going to quickly go around the room and say where people can find people. Kuva, we will start with you, sir. And I know, and I started. So when can we expect to see anything on the three Spurs boys?
Well, we're going to have a change of our usual schedule. Bobby K and I, and doing Kuva and the Kang will be on Fridays because he'll be taking the kids for football training on Saturdays, and it clashes with the start of the show. So I can't remember if we're doing it this Friday or next Friday, to be honest. We're so slack at organising things between us. You wouldn't think that showing after seeing the professional content we put out on Saturdays, would you? But
that's true. It's true, but it's a very good watch, isn't it? It's a great watch, and this is where you can find them. Ryan, where can people find you, sir?
Right here on Tottenham on Tour, the world famous home of Levy Out.
Damn right. That's my catchphrase.
My Twitter handle is Ryan Levy Out 14, so give me a follow. I do follow back, and obviously you get the match reviews, and obviously from time to time I'll pop on Cockerel Doodle do like today. Yes,
and hopefully come the end of January, February, he'll be getting up at 3:30 in the morning to do this with me every single day because he'll be with me.
Yeah, so, I like my sleep.
So you go to bed very early like I have to. No, it's your holiday. You do what you want. James, brother, thank you so much for coming on. Love you dearly. You're coming on the Advent calendar when we get around to doing day 13 because you want to talk about Ian Walker. So
no, David Raya.
Lovely hair. It's lovely hair.
I want to talk about David Raya.
Where can people find you, brother?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, James Flower, and just here, guys. To be honest, helping out when I can.
There we go, and you're a great addition, brother. Love having you on, Ben. Obviously, I was saying earlier, the cat's name may be announced on your show today because I will.
I didn't realise it. I don't even control my own show anymore. But
I said, someone asked if I'd named it, and I was like, we have named it. I did say I'll name it on your channel. I don't know if we're going to do a video. We can play it. Maybe today, it may not. You have to tune in to find out. Where can I find you, brother?
Find out. But yeah, Coffee Company, 2 p.m. Weekdays, except for Wednesday, where we go at 3:30 with Mr. Cooves and Bobby in the bottom left. And we have a new show debuting this Thursday. Mia and I from Spurs Between the Lines will be doing a new show starting every Thursday at 2 p.m. where we're just going to have fun and talk Disney stuff, and it's going to be a laugh. And we're going to have guests on. We're going to do quotes, and it's going to be a laugh. So get over there to the Coffee Company. It's a great place to be. Mental health, coffee, good chats, biscuits, Kit Kats, and yeah.
You said biscuits already.
Exclusive.
I have to say, big up to Big Boss Man. Big up. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're good and the family are well. This can be spoken about tomorrow. That's big news or big rumours. All I will say is to everyone that joined the show, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We'll go around with that. Ryan, off you go.
Support the team, not the regime.
Ben.
If you smell what the cough is brewing.
Kuva, you're going to have a catchphrase for the day?
I'm not going to do a catchphrase, but I'm just going to say that the cat naming session has inspired me. When we get ours, I'm now thinking of Vicario.
Yeah, I wish. Unfortunately, it's not. Much to James's this
Covering time.
And all I will say is, and as always, Levy out.